Hello and welcome again. Dick Powell here to talk to you from Your Time Matters. Yesterday, I was in a conversation with a group of people and we were talking about the new college graduates. The one person really said, well, they're really prepared because they have a degree and that makes them better and more prepared than those who maybe not have a full degree or a degree at all. They were claiming that a college degree meant more to the employer than actual practical experience. Well, it's been my case that that's not true. And lo and behold, I got home and guess what was in the Sunday paper? There was an article there and it was written talking about what employers thought was missing from the college graduates. And this is what they said they lacked. They said college graduates lacked the interpersonal skills. In other words, they didn't know how to relate to one another and as well as anyone around them. They lacked oral communication skills. They lacked written communication skills. They lacked leadership, not only in the corporate but in the personal leadership, just getting themselves to and from and doing what they're supposed to be doing. They lacked in project management. They didn't know how to manage their time as well as projects as they came in. They weren't skilled in doing research and analysis. Doing the research, finding out the opportunities, and then making the analysis, well, is this something we should do? Well, pass on, or move on. The employer said that also they were lacking, believe it or not, in computer and technical skills. These are young people that are supposed to be the most well-educated on and with computers, and hearing what they were saying, and that's because they're not staying up with the latest and greatest. They also made mention that they were lacking in math skills. And this really bothered me, this part, because I found it really interesting and I was just lucky. I was so lucky to be a Boy Scout. And I know that maybe in today's world, saying a Boy Scout doesn't stand out, but I'm going to tell you what, that in Boy Scouting, I learned all of these lost skills. And I learned them through that program. I learned teamwork as soon as I walked through the door the first night to become a scout. As you entered into a world where you were ushered into leadership as well as what they called the patrol method, where you worked your way up into the leadership. Leadership is learned through the use and study of interpersonal skills. How about that? In order to be a good leader, you have to be able to work along as well as get along with other people. You needed to know good oral skills. To be a leader in scouting, especially senior patrol leader, you had to be able to project your oral language in a way that people came and followed. Your written language was always there because you're always taking notes. What was working? What wasn't working? What do I need to change? How do I need to take and make it better? Well, in scouting, I have to tell you that it bolstered my creative thinking. And it came from being in the woods, building a fire with simply flint and steel. I'm going to tell you, you have to be creative. How to find and prepare food for not only myself, but my team, my patrol. If you ever plan a camp out, you first have to do researching. You have to find out where you're going, how you're going, what are you going to do, what are we going to eat. You have to do the research, and then you have to analyze what things are going to go into that camp out that you're going to need. So you must analyze every piece. Now, if you don't do that, you're certainly not learning project management. And project management is so important because in a scouting opportunity, if you're not managing the project, you could end up with no tents and no food for dinner. Probably not a good thing. It was in my scouting background that I realized that math became such an important piece. It wasn't in school. In school, that was really a boring task because they didn't put it into applicable real-life situations. In scouting, I learned how to make a budget. I learned how to save for a rainy day. I learned how that money was a tool to be used and not just squandered. In all those years, I saw the computers coming in. I worked a large company where computers came in little by little, and first they were huge, and now they're on our phone. And Here's the thing I'm going to tell you about computers and technical knowledge. You have to keep up on it almost daily. And if you don't, you fall behind very, very quickly. You see, to be a good senior patrol leader, and that's the head of the troop, you would have to not only display, but you would have to live each one of these lost skills. You would have to prove them in action, not just to yourself, but to those around you. And you'd have to do it in a way that it wasn't all in theory. It didn't all just come out of a book. You didn't just read it, you practiced it, and you lived it. And one other thing, you had to be able to teach it to others. Experiential learning is the best way we learn. Each one teach one. I know we've talked about it 100 times, but we're not really doing it very well job, especially in our upper academia. So the question remains to this. How do we teach not only academia, but how do we find and teach the lost skills and common sense? Where do graduates acquire these missing or lost skills? Our company, believe it or not, Earth, Wind, Fire, Water, Training and Development is that bridge between academia and the real life. We started this company because we saw a problem with the academia world not teaching this, but also because employers kept coming to us and saying, hey, can you do something with these young people and teach them how to talk on a phone, how to be on time, how to follow up on an opportunity, what's the right words to use, how to write a simple order, be on time, dress appropriately, and use the knowledge that they've learned in the academia world to be productive. Well, that's what I wanted to pass with you today. Am I all about going to school and academia world? You bet. Do I believe that it's a good starting point? You bet. Do I believe that people who are self-starters and self-learners can go just as far as someone with a pedigree? You bet. Is it as easy? No. Because we're still stuck in a society, we're still stuck in a culture that if you have a college degree from a name brand college, supposedly you're better than everybody else. But I do believe in my heart that that's changing. It's changing because employers are seeing it's not the degree you hung on the wall, but it's what you're going to bring to our company. Well, this has been Dick Powell here at Your Time Matters, brought to you by Earth, Wind, Fire, Water, Training and Development, where if you're not developing yourself, no one else is. And I'll leave you with one last thought. If you are not planning your life, someone else is. Have a great day.